Buddy.
Hello.
Sorry we're late. Mr. Carter had some technical difficulties because obviously he's working with a Windows machine and things just don't work right when you have a Windows machine.
Oh, Windows just works so well all the time.
It does not. It
Does
not.
its
That is a
primary
perfect
function.
that
It's
is a
bringing
perfect
me closer to
experience.
things I love, to you guys. Can't say the same about Apple.
This is what you need right here, a MacBook.
That looks exactly like my laptop.
Same. Hey, I have the same computer right here.
I even have
Yours just
similarly placed logos.
Yours just got a bigger Dell logo in the middle of it.
Actually, at work, we were cleaning out a desk and found a bunch of Apple stickers, and I was this close to putting it right here on over the Dell logo. But I decided against it because it would look ghetto.
You should have. How's everybody doing?
I have my voice back after being gone last week. I lost my voice the very next day. Is that true? We were going to do it on Monday. I almost lost my voice on Tuesday, and then it was gone Wednesday, and I actually took the day off on Thursday. So all weekend I could barely speak. It was unusual. I don't normally lose my voice and then start to feel better after that, but that's what happened. But also, I remembered I was sick last year during Thanksgiving week. I was going to have Thanksgiving.
Oh, I remember that. Yeah, I remember that, actually. I remember that.
Yeah.
I think we postponed or something because you weren't feeling well or something like that. So, How you doing, Tim?
Pretty good. Nothing going on.
Do you want to share what your new server is named?
Yes. So, if you don't know, I currently have a server. His name is Gerald. Gerald, we like to name our computers after characters in the Pixar universe, and we chose Gerald because Gerald from Finding Dory is a character. The new server, the committee has decided, the new server name is Bruce from Finding Nemo, the shark, because I don't know if you guys know this, but sharks tend to be kind of strong animals in the ocean. So we thought it would be a good fitting for it to be Bruce, because this server is actually pretty powerful until I get a new server, which will be more powerful, and then we'll be even more confused about what to name the next server.
Off the air, I was suggesting that it should have been Gordon. But
I had a friend.
Obviously, that wasn't it. Is there any Pixar characters named Gordon?
Oh, I'm sure
they need to get on it because Gordon would be a great server name.
I have a friend that was suggesting Barry B. Benson from the B movie.
Oh man.
You should have done a Twitter. You should have done a Twitter poll. So, can anybody guess what my servers are named after?
Star Wars characters.
Star Wars characters. Can anybody guess what my hard drives are named after?
Star Wars devices.
Planets.
Ah, damn it.
Star Wars planets.
Okay. I hope one of them is Alderaan.
Alderaan, yep. And yeah. So.
When I was one time at my previous employment, we were doing a huge printer install for this school. It was a private Christian school that we were doing a giant printer install, and we had over, I think it was like 40 printers that we were setting up, and that included also like 5 or 6 copiers and 1 print server. It was a huge project that we worked on for several months. And when we were planning the project, we were trying to figure out a naming scheme, because when you have that many printers, you have to name them all. And we were trying, and they were like, you guys come up with a naming scheme, we do not care. And so my coworker, he thought it would be a great idea to name them all after biblical characters. And so we started going through and we named each printer after a biblical name. And then I think for the giant copier, the really powerful one, we named it Goliath.
Yeah.
It was so much fun to work on.
What was the most obscure name that you named something, if you can remember? Because you did like 40 or something printers plus some copiers or something, so it sounded like you had a lot.
Yeah, there was one named Timothy. That was my favorite one. That was the
Of
best
course.
printer. I was not
biased
happy
at all.
that we had to set it up in the boys' dorm. I wasn't really happy about that. I'm like, it's not going to go into a more important place. It's going over there.
Wait, did you not have say on what that printer got named?
My coworker, he had an entire spreadsheet, and he already, like, on his off time, he went and figured out where each one was going to go to. Like, and this was this school was a full-on private school. They had dorms, they had a cafeteria, or like a cafeteria. And they showed us when we were going on the tour of this school originally. They showed us the girls' dorm because it was brand new, because the girls' dorm burned down a few years prior. So they showed us the girls' dorm, and they were like, "Look how nice the school is." And then they purposely didn't show us the boys' dorm because it was really disgusting. and then I was going through and doing something. I had to go to the boys' dorm. I'm like, "What is this?" Someone had a cat in there.
What? Is this Harry Potter? Were there like rats and owls everywhere too? Why do you have a cat?
It was really interesting.
Huh.
Did anybody? We were going to talk about Black Friday deals. I think we should do that before the show. Does anybody have any Black Friday deals? Because I didn't really find much that was interesting.
Yeah. So I'm actually looking right as we speak. I don't know when this happened, but Best Buy just released their Black Friday advertisement.
Happened over the weekend.
Did they release it like a long time ago?
No, I was waiting for it.
I think it was over the weekend. Could be wrong, but I thought it was over the weekend.
I've been checking it because I'm on the hunt for some Xbox games this Black Friday.
And I want to point out that not only this year, but last year, and it seems like every year going forward, you can get Black Friday-like deals all the month of November because companies are just doing it early and earlier every year.
Yeah. Like I'm planning on me and Zoe are going to go to Target on Black Friday. We're trying to decide. I think we're going to go early in the morning, but we're not going to get anything crazy. We're literally just after a few Xbox games and Joy-Cons because ours are broken. And I think I was going to try and get Cyberpunk because I've been waiting for that game to drop in price to a reasonable price, but I think I'm going to hold off. And then was planning on...
Hold on. Now you'd have to get the Xbox Series X version, right?
Cyberpunk only has the Xbox One version. They don't have they have an Xbox One X version of it that I believe they're calling is the Series X version because...
Yikes.
Yeah. And then I want to get Red Dead 2. That's a game I've been patiently waiting for it to drop below $10.
Beautiful game.
And then Assassin's Creed Valhalla looks really good. I've been waiting for that to drop, so I might get that for $15. We'll see. I'm just gonna try and get some games, and then Joy-Cons, but also the chiropractor. We need to buy a server and also some new laptops. So that's another.
You doing the shopping for that, or like, are you going to go out and look for?
No, the owner, he's been asking me about it because he wants to buy a bunch of computers, and so I still need to go through and figure out what would be worth buying. And I love doing that because it's not my money. So I get to do
MacBooks make for great computers. I'm just saying.
Well, we're a Windows environment, so that's not going to.
Why not switch?
Because our software, I think I've told you this, our software vendor only supports Windows.
Well, then get a new software vendor.
Tell me, where am I going to find a chiropractor software vendor?
There are medical facilities that use MacBooks.
Are they
iPads?
Chiropractors?
Yeah, they have lots of them out there.
They use iPads, but do they use Macs?
they use Macs too.
It'd be interesting to see what kind of developers there are for like hospital Mac software and what the software experience is like.
One of my early mentors was a developer for a big time insurance company. I don't want to say the name, but yeah, he had everything. He developed apps for them, internal apps that they used on iPads and MacBooks and stuff like that, and integrated them into other software programs that were based on the Mac and stuff like that, so they could talk to each other using APIs and other things. So yeah.
That's cool. I imagine once you get into that ecosystem, it's easy to keep things probably more updated than you could on a Windows system. Just knowing that Windows kind of like breaks things with updates and stuff. It might be hectic, but
yeah, so. I would say it's probably one of the most complicated things to switch from a Windows to a Mac. I mean, I remember when I did it many years ago. I mean, there's a lot of tools out there that make it easier now. Google Drive, you can upload all your files to, and then you can download them onto there and stuff like that. So the cloud makes it a lot easier than back in the day when I had like millions of flash drives and I was trying to copy things over and things weren't necessarily compatible with there. And, you know, you had a really old version of Office that was not very pretty because Microsoft didn't spend a lot of money on that. But do you have any Black Friday deals, Matt, that you're looking for?
I mean, there's stuff that would be nice to have. Like, I'd like to have a robot vacuum. I think that would be cool, and now would be the time to get it, right? Everything is like,
no.
What? 25% off I've seen. 600 down to 400. What?
I have a Roomba. His name's Jeffrey. He's the dumbest thing in the world. Like, literally. Jeffrey from Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. Sorry.
Okay. All right. I was like,
and if they ever come out with a robot, it's going to be the robot from the Jetsons. What's her name?
It's not Susie, right? It's something.
No.
Sharon. Robot butler.
Rosie.
Okay.
Yeah. So it would be Jeffrey and Rosie. So Jeffrey is the vacuum, and he goes around here, but he gets stuck like every day. He never learns. Like he never learns that. Oh, I'm going to get stuck here. I shouldn't keep trying to go over this little pole sitting in my thing or this ottoman, and like literally, like he maps out the whole house, but he still gets stuck every day.
So you're saying it's not the time to buy a robot vacuum in general, no matter what the price?
Yeah, I would wait until or you get one of the really expensive ones that you can.
They're so expensive though.
Because you can get one, and there's one for like $700.
Oh,
you know. Man. And the other complaint too about it is, should you get one? I would get one with a bag that can empty itself, because you literally have to it gets most of our apartment done in the charge time, but then it'll stop and have to go back and recharge for a while to finish some of the bedroom and some of the extra spots. So once it does it for about I would say 45 minutes to an hour, it'll go back and recharge, and then it'll go back out. But the container is really full. So you have to go in there and empty the container all the time. But they do make self containers that have it in there, so they'll automatically empty it. Roomba has one, but I would recommend doing that if you're going to do anything with it.
Unpopular opinion. You could put all this money to a Roomba and possibly have it become obsolete in 3 weeks after you buy it, because robot vacuuming is evolving like nobody's business.
There's so much from one generation to another.
You could do that, or you could take that money and buy a really nice Dyson vacuum and have a fantastically fun experience.
We have both.
And I think Matt and I have the same Dyson vacuum, are like the same year. I'm just lazy And the more I can automate and just have things like going around in the background without my direct intervention, the better. So
It's really nice.
Fair.
It's really
Yeah.
nice. And I'll say this.
Okay.
The one thing that I'm scared about with the Roomba is the dogs. I don't want the dog to. We have a puppy, and I'm not really worried about Charlie pooping on the floor, but 11
Yeah.
does sign up poop on the floor, and I'm just worried about setting up a schedule and like she poops on the floor and we're not home or whatnot.
So you don't have a schedule for your automated Roomba?
Nope. I usually start it in the mornings, mostly on the days that my wife doesn't work. Because it sits there and goes around her desk for like 10 times and it keeps getting stuck. Like literally, I go out there every time and get it out of there. But it really is. I'm trying to look to see what the model number that we have.
The do not buy model number.
Just so, because there are some other ones where you can set zones in your house to not vacuum, but I think when I looked at it, it was like $700 for that model, and I think we paid like $400. I want to say. I'm trying to find the Amazon purchase.
And it's so hard with robot vacuums because every company that could make tech makes a robot vacuum. So it's like a minefield of what you're describing. I imagine for every price point up to what you paid for and maybe a little bit more because you have a Roomba, right? Like that's like the name brand. I wouldn't expect that at that price level, or I would expect updates to kind of get rid of that functionality, but
I don't think Jeffrey's ever gotten an update, to be honest.
Surprising.
I'm trying to figure out when we purchased it.
You can get a 4K 65-inch TV with Roku TV built in for how much is this?
$299.
Yeah.
Is it the Element?
Wow. Yeah.
Yeah. Still an insane deal. I don't need a TV, but I saw that and I was like, it's 65 inches for $300.
Imagine having to choose between buying a Nintendo Switch that comes with Mario Kart 8 Deluxe and 3 months of Nintendo Online, or a 65-inch 4K TV. Imagine having to choose the two of those between two of them. Same price.
I remember when I got ours. I got it the same day my iPad came. Literally, I had like over $1,000 on a truck. So we got ours for a total of, let me see here which. So we got ours for $349, and it's the Roomba iRobot Roomba i3. And it works with the Wi-Fi and Alexa, and then it also can connect to the mop one too, which we've talked about getting because we don't really do a lot of mopping. But literally, like he gets stuck all the time.
So this being the i3, I wonder what the latest version is. It's hard to tell on their website.
Because I think this was the one out there that was there. I think the next one up was the i6. The reason we got the i though, because the i ones, when I was looking at the reviews on there, they said get an iRobot, an i model, because it maps out your house. And the other ones, if you don't have an i series, then it will basically not map and show you your area. So I was taking the consideration that it was going to map and actually get better at, but no, it maps and then it just gets stuck. So
it just doesn't care. Yeah. Okay. So to wrap up vacuum talk, I just wanted to say Roomba S9 Plus robot vacuum with advanced cleaning systems and the self-emptying dock you were talking about. That bad boy will set you back $1,100. So that's
They have it. They have cheaper models because I've seen it actually at the Amazon bookstore in Bellevue Square, and they had it for, I think it was like $4.99 for the combo. for the same one that we got. I think the same model series that we have, the i3 on Amazon is $100 off right now. It is $299.99, and you can get it overnight delivery if you live here in Washington between 4 and 8 a.m. If you want to leave that bad boy out. But we haven't really given up on the robot, but maybe we'll try and figure out other ways to, because one of the things that gets stuck on is my standing desk a lot. So I was thinking about propping up my standing desk a little more so he can't climb on top of the
there's little pedestals, there. The little feet.
Yeah. So I could either get feet, or I could get because I think it did come with. I think the standing desk did come with wheels. I don't know where the wheels are. I might have to buy new wheels, but I could probably put wheels, and then he wouldn't be able to get up on top of there. And then it would literally probably just be the ottoman, because he really gets stuck on both me and my wife's, standing desk. So, but anyways, really excited for the mopping though. But we kind of waited. We wanted to see how it really works, but they do have a mop.
I don't mop ever, so I didn't.
Well, we have hardwood floors. We have hardwood floors. Yeah. So having I have carpet in here, but out in the other parts and just in the bedroom we have carpet. So
wouldn't that be great? Like, it mops when you're gone, and then you come back and it's dry and it's just ready to go. Like, that sounds like
But I don't even want to think about it. I do. I have dogs, and I don't even want to think about it, because the one people said if it runs over poop, it will literally not you can't get it clean. You can take all the parts out, but it would still, it's ruined after that. So, yeah. Anyways, all right. Any last Black Friday issues, Tim?
Chromebooks are $100.
Boo!
Really? At the BB?
At Target. Yes, sorry, Best Buy. Yes, they had them. I'm looking at the Target ad right now. Probably not a good one.
Is it the Lenovo 10E Chromebook tablet? Wait, what?
Maybe. There were actually a few of them, so that could be one of them.
Oh yeah, here's the Asus Chromebook, $99.99 or $99. There's an HP one. For $149.
Wow. An HP laptop, 8 gigs of RAM with Windows 11 for $329.99.
They're gonna have so many limited of these. They're only gonna have one of these. I don't know that there's a lot of people going in for a Chromebook.
Well, I've got elbow pads, so if I need to, I can.
Actually, don't you think, because a lot of people have been using, especially students have been using Chromebooks for the last year, do you think their parents are going to be like, hey, this device has worked really well for my child in the last year?
I like the sound of that. Maybe they don't anticipate how much people have gotten habituated to using Chromebooks during the pandemic.
Here's a Chromebook. It's called a Pixelbook Go, 13.3 inch. Supposed to be top of the line, and it's made by Google, but they're charging $849 for it.
God, I hate premium.
Who's gonna spend that much money on it's made by Google and it's a premium Chromebook, but what are you gonna
the kind of person that wants to use a Chromebook at the side of a pool in their backyard while also eating a cocktail.
I think the whole premium Chromebook market it's insane that it exists, because for that same amount, you get so much more versatility with Windows.
The cheapest Chromebook is $649 regular price, and they're pretty much either $100 or $50 to $150 off, depending on the size and the model that you go up to. But they're all 13.3 inch screens.
This just in, the ice maker, the famous GE pellet bullet.
Is it the gray one though?
Yes.
Is it the gray one?
It is on sale for $579.99 at Best Buy.
It was cheaper. It was cheaper about 6 months ago. I think it was
really?
I think it was like $4.99 on Amazon.
Oh dang! Okay.
Yeah, that's not a deal, and that's not the one that I have. I have the black second edition. I think
Oh,
that's
this
the
one connects
first
to
edition.
Wi-Fi.
They
This
both
one
do. Yeah.
They do what?
I
What does it do?
I have an app. You can you can go in and you can go in and clean it. You can set up a schedule to make ice at a certain time.
Oh.
You can set a schedule to turn on and off the lights and stuff like that. Yeah.
What? You can have it as a night light? Do you have it as a alarm
We just
clock?
leave
Wake
we
up
just leave
alarm.
ours on. We just leave ours on all the time. But you can get it's $5.79. It's $5.79 on Amazon.
Okay.
Or $115.80 for 5 months. If you did the payment plan. They don't have our black model though. I don't know if they're not making it. But we have the 2.0 and I think this is the original. So
Okay.
there's
There's some really good deals on TVs this year.
Yeah.
Like,
It's amazing how cheap they are.
4K TV. Remember when when I worked in electronics, we had one 4K TV that was 40 inches, and that was it. And that was, I think, $600, and I was like, that's a really good deal for a 4K TV.
Yeah.
And that was like the one that was terrible. Like it weighed like 300 pounds, and
Are you thinking about the holiday one?
No, the Seki, Seki.
Oh yeah. Oh
That
god.
thing. That
It was a
thing was
monster.
pretty terrible. That's crazy how just 4K TVs have just gone down in price to a
Now you
point
can-
where it's cheaper to buy a 4K.
Yeah, you could just accidentally break a 4K TV and it wouldn't be like an arm and a leg to get another one. Like a 65-inch for $300, even if it's somewhat garbage, how could it be with smart features built in? It's still like, I don't know, you could just do anything with it's such a good deal.
Yeah. We have a TV in our living room that we bought all with Target gift cards from our wedding. The TV cost $400, and we had $450 worth of gift cards, and we paid for the entire thing with gift cards. And the associates that were helping us at checkout, they were blown away that we were using gift cards, and they were like, "What?" Like they were just blown away by it.
As long as the process was straightforward and you don't have to call for an override after gift card number 3 and have to have a manager standing there with like a key and to turn it and stuff, and they're like, oh, this guy has 17 gift cards, we're going to be here all night. Like, as long as it's not that.
Update. This ice maker is the 2.0 version. It's a GE profile one. And you can also get the black one for $5.79 too. If you get it off of Amazon, you're not getting the 2.0 model. You're getting the original older model.
Why is Toshiba still making TVs?
My first smart TV was a Toshiba TV, and I liked it except for the power button.
Okay.
It was like a single power button for everything. Awful design.
Oh.
Turn it on, switch the input, hold it for a certain amount of time that was ambiguous to do everything. It was not.
You can get it today for $5.79.
Yes, you
That's
can.
Not a Black Friday. That's not a Black Friday deal, by the way, too.
Sell your current ice maker and get this one.
And then join the Ice by Air Club.
I love our ice maker, though.
Shoot me a message. Do you use it a lot?
Oh, we use it every day.
Oh, nice.
I turn it on first thing in the morning because we drink iced coffee typically. So I brew coffee the night before, let it sit in the fridge, and then make iced coffee the next morning. Except we've been making mochas with my with the milk frother that we got. We've been making a lot more peppermint mochas. It's been pretty delicious.
All right. We ready to get the show on the road?
Ready.
You know what we're talking about, everybody? Just kidding. Okay. All right. Stand by.
Android and iPhone users, welcome. BlackBerry and Windows Phone users, these phones don't even support podcasting, bro. The podcast going beyond the headlines. This is the Gooplycast. Here's your host, Matthew Carter.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Gooplycast. We're live right now on Twitter, Twitch, Facebook, and YouTube. And if you can't make our live show, we have an audio-only version, and you can find us on all of your favorite Android and iOS podcasting apps, as well as Facebook podcasts. With us tonight is custom domain champion Matt Evans. Welcome, Matt.
Greetings. Actually, I'm really not the custom domain champion anymore because I switched away from iCloud custom domains.
Oh. So we have to come up with a new name for you.
I think so. We'll have to, yeah.
Right,
Ice by Air founder.
Oh, that's going in now. Ice by... You want founder or CEO?
Founder.
All right.
Founder and CEO and investor and board committee
and CTO. All right. Ice by Air founder Matt Evans. Joining us from the benches from Dreamland, who is not here tonight, is Product Red extraordinaire Roy Slipinski. We wish Roy a good night. We also have host of Cooking with Tim, Chef Tim Van Claveren. Hey, Tim.
Hello.
Taking the night off is Joseph Meacham, our executive gamer. So tonight, what are we talking about, Matt?
Streamlabs versus OBS. Have you guys followed this? I tweeted out earlier in the week before it all got going last week. But if you've never heard of it, OBS is a studio. It's called Open Broadcast Studio. And it's short for OBS, and it's an open source application. If you're not familiar with open source, it's basically they design it, they release the code base, and anybody can download it and modify or fork it and basically create their own app and add to it based on what they've already created. Well, Streamlabs, which is a popular streaming service, basically they didn't buy it, but they downloaded it and used the code with the license. And part of the licensing agreement is that you have to redistribute the code to continue to make it open source. So if you make any modified changes to it, then you have to do it. The only thing that they did is they left out proprietary changes that they made to it that only works with the Streamlabs service. And they have a paid service. OBS is free for anybody to download and use at the obsproject.com. Which is the official open source version of it. So Streamlabs basically downloaded it, forked it, created their own software for it, and then they reached out, and OBS said this in a tweet. They said, nearing the launch of SL OBS, which is Streamlabs OBS, the Streamlabs reached out to us and asked us about using the OBS name. We kindly asked them not to. They did so anyways, and followed up by filing a trademark.
What?
Yeah. And so, and it continues on to say that we've tried to sort this out with them in private, but they have been uncooperative in every term. And then it continues on in another tweet and says, we often are forced with confusion between users and the companies that don't understand the difference between the two apps. And this app is supported by volunteers and sometimes met with angry people asking for refunds, basically confusing OBS Project with Streamlabs OBS. Mm-hmm. So basically this went out over a tweet. A lot of news articles picked it up, like The Verge, Mashable, I think, picked it up, but it got a lot of media attention, just because a lot of it people called out. And then also there was a bunch of Twitch streamers that I believe were using the Streamlabs and had lots of followers and stuff like that, and basically had a big outcry as well. And ultimately, that's, I think, what came down to it. and Streamlabs then said, basically, we're changing our name. So,
and they changed it to Streamlabs Desktop because Streamlabs is, like you were saying, it's a tool or software for streamers and professionals to like engage with their audience and like monetize their audience and like grow their brand. I was surprised that the community struck back because what I could find was that Streamlabs has been working on Streamlabs OBS since at least 2018. So it's been around for a while and they've been tweeting about it, but I hadn't heard about the controversy until recently when they changed their name. And
yeah. I was just going to say that there was another tweet that came out by I think he's a CEO and co-founder of Lightstream, and essentially is now, he wrote, and I think Streamlabs, OBS Project retweeted it, but it said the team at Streamlabs should be ashamed, not satisfied enough to ride the OBS project for their hard work. They're now copying their layout, and using every word in their marketing site in their UX product on their website. And then he tweeted out, he retweeted another one that said, "Hey, can I copy your homework?" And then basically Streamlabs is saying they're using, I think, the Streamlabs logo in there or something like that. And it says, just change it up a bit, copy it.
It'll be fine. We'll get away with it. No one will notice who's our customer base. Either no one's heard of Lightstream or too many people go to Streamlabs, so they can get away with just stealing stuff.
So it's interesting. A lot of people have talked about this controversy and that maybe Streamlabs wanted to be called out and had been doing this for the publicity to get people to look at their product. Now, I don't think it worked. I think it backfired on them because the community really stuck out with them. But that was one of the thoughts that was going through people's minds is Streamlabs just doing this to get the publicity so that people know what they are. And Streamlabs basically wrote an apology, but it's not really an apology. It says, we take immediate action to remove the OBS name from our name. Streamlabs OBS is built on top of OBS, which is the open source platform. Streamlabs OBS is also open source, and our code is available publicly. We take responsibility for our actions and support the community. So it's just basic apology, but not really. It sounds like it to me, basically. But yeah, I mean, it's interesting that OBS Project was communicating with them privately and not getting anywhere, and they were trying to file a trademark to steal the OBS name from underneath them. And they were doing it all legally, basically because of the agreement that, it's an open source project. So,
and I don't know if this is necessarily true or anything, but I was just scrolling through the Twitter replies for Streamlabs, and Barnacles, he's a YouTuber, Twitch streamer in the Seattle area. He tweeted out saying that if you are a user of Streamlabs, go through all your PayPal transactions. And I guess there's been reports that people who have been using them and PayPal for donations have been getting charged $10 to $15 a month from Streamlabs through their over their donations or something like that. I'm kind of looking right now to fact check that to see if there's a source on it, but some replies in the
he's been very outspoken about it, and I think I might have learned about it from him from his retweets or something, but because I've never used Open OBS. Joseph uses it, I think, for our normal one when we're not using Restream, but but other than that, I haven't really used much of it, just because I found it more confusing to try and use. And if you don't have a really powerful computer, it doesn't always work. I think Roy and I tried it. We tried to reboot the podcast originally, and it just didn't work the way I wanted it to. But I mean, he talked about it. Barnacules talked about it all weekend on Tech Talk, I think. And basically, basically they got called out for their shit.
And it was definitely going to happen because, like, even though OBS might be difficult to use, it's still like everybody knows about OBS if you're in streaming, or you've at least heard about it if you haven't used it. So I think Streamlabs adding OBS to their name, if they weren't doing it intentionally, maliciously, which it kind of looks like they were.
Well, they were.
Yeah,
because they were buying out all the ads on Google Ads and Bing and all the search engines. They were the number one, and then it was OBS Project underneath them because they had all the ads rights. They have since pulled all the ads, changed their name, and so they're no longer number one. So if you do search on Google or Bing, then you will find OBS Project at the top of the list. But it's just, And here's the thing. The other thing I'm going to say. So the open source community is there to help people develop and share your code. And I totally support that, being a developer myself. There's GitHub, there's private and public repositories where you can go and download code, fork it, but you change it up and you make it your own. There's a lot of copyright or not copyright, but there's a lot of plagiarism in the development world, but it's kind of known out there because it's open source and stuff like that too. So but it's like
you don't take the name of the thing that you're stealing from, at least.
And you don't go take somebody's website and you don't go just view all the source and copy it and paste it over to you. No, there was even I think this was on Tech Talk over the weekend too, that they were talking about this, but they were actually talking about how they even had the same reviews with the same the same reviews in there. They just changed the name from Bob to Todd.
Boy.
And it was just like how, like, you're not even being true to it, because you're using fake reviews, which we know are out there. There's a lot of places. Amazon has a lot of fake reviews. They send out free product for people to do, give people cash rewards if they do a positive review, and stuff like that.
Give people cash rewards if they do a negative review on competing products. It's a huge problem on Amazon.
But I think that this is an eye opener for a lot of places too, especially because legally they obeyed the terms of the open source license, which is the GPL, and basically, they were doing that, but then, disrespecting OBS and all the work that had been gone into it, so.
And it's one thing if you're a company who gets into this situation and it's kind of a mistake or something, or you're working with the community and somehow you get into the situation where you've upset the community and one of the long-standing pillars of the community in OBS, but they've got such a bad reputation from copying other people's work and trying to steal market share from OBS and the streaming community is very profitable, but it's not very big. So it was awesome to see the trendsetters and the professionals kind of use their voice to prevent Streamlabs OBS from trying to, I don't know what, dominate the streaming space, to confuse up-and-coming streamers, to confuse companies who might not understand the ins and outs of the industry. Because if you hear OBS, that's an acronym for open broadcaster, what software or system. You don't know what that is, but if you're in streaming or you're connected to it, you know where it is. You probably know where to go for it. You know what it is. You're a little bit more savvy, but Streamlabs has a kind of corporate face to it that might attract people more than OBS does, which is a little bit less user friendly, maybe.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Well, and here's something I didn't know, but I guess I just was doing some research. But Logitech actually bought Streamlabs for $89 million back in 2019.
No.
And I really love Logitech. Like, I have Logitech keyboards and mouse, and I even have a webcam around here. But like, I really like Logitech, you know. But I'm wondering if Logitech actually called up Streamlabs guys and said, "Hey, what are you guys doing to get all this negative publicity? Because now we're being brought into it." You know.
Oh, so you don't think that Logitech was?
I'm wondering if Logitech even knew about it, and or how much control they have over the company, and stuff like that. Because again, when you acquire companies, sometimes they operate separately. I'm wondering if that's maybe the case of what happened. It is nice that Streamlabs did the right thing and dropped the OBS name. I think their apology could have been a little more heartfelt apology.
I'm sure they just copied it off of some apology website.
Oh yeah. And instead of saying we take full responsibility, they could have said, "Oh, we sincerely apologize to the OBS team for all the hassle we've caused them and not returning their phone calls." And
it would have been so easy.
Speaking of copying, I don't know if you guys saw this, but I posted it in our Discord chat.
Yeah, that's the tweet that I was talking about.
Oh, that was okay.
Yeah, that was the exact one that I read. It says, "Hey, can I copy your homework?" Streamlabs says, "Yeah, just change it up a little bit." Obviously,
Lightstream. I guess Lightstream. I don't know too much about the difference between Streamlabs and Lightstream. Lightstream is, I think, a competitor to Streamlabs, and it's pretty much looking at the picture of the two websites, it's just exact copy and paste of everything on there. And then Streamlabs replied back saying we made a mistake, and then pretty much we apologize and they're gonna fix it. They have not had a good week.
They have not. They have not at all. Like, this is crazy. This is insane. There is a big thing at the top of the Streamlabs.com website that says Streamlabs OBS is now Streamlabs Desktop. I think they could have come up with a better name for it, maybe Streamlabs Studio, or something instead of Desktop. Like, I mean, that just. But yeah, you're definitely right. The website is all the same, pretty much. It
has this kind of checkerboard image, text, image kind of layout that, as you scroll it, is very, very much similar. Lots of similarities. Though the Streamlabs one is a little bit more sparse. It looks like Lightstream put a little bit more effort and love into their website. I'm going to say the Streamlabs one seems a little barren.
But if you go down and you scroll, so if you go to Streamlabs Desktop and you go to the Lightstream product and you do Lightstream Studio, but you scroll down, it's basically the same.
Yeah,
it's basically the same layout. They just changed everything. And like I said, some people mimic other websites and stuff like that, but they change it up and they make it their own. They take ideas and build off of it, and I think that just copying the source code from viewing source and stuff like that, is different. That's why when I for my websites and stuff that I do, I basically use a compiler because I use like React and stuff like that to compress the file down from it. So you can't really see my source code because it's all one line. and it just
Mm.
goes straight down instead of having the exact same source code up there. I compile it, compress it down so that it's one line, take out stuff that's not needed and stuff like that. But
Yeah.
yeah.
So,
So
question
go ahead.
for you guys: how would you feel if OBS, Streamlabs OBS, was still going to be called Streamlabs OBS, but the website looked different. It looked more custom to whatever specific service they were trying to offer, whatever platform that they were trying to get you into. It looked like Streamlabs' own thing, but it was still Streamlabs OBS. And they didn't steal other components from other websites or whatever. How would you guys feel if they kept that OBS name?
Well, I mean, I don't think they should have, because they originally asked OBS Project if they could use OBS in their name, and they respectfully said no, please don't.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that if you go out there and you ask people, and you should respect their decision, because they are the original people who built the OBS name and built the OBS project. So I think, and I agree. I think you should come up with your, like I said before, I think you should come up with your own contributions to it, like which they did. I mean, OBS Streamlabs desktop is a lot different than OBS. It has a platform that's built on it and a service that's built on it, but you shouldn't confuse people, and then you shouldn't take credit for other people's work. And that's exactly what they were doing in my mind. So
Yeah, I agree with you, Matt. They asked for permission, answer was no, and they still decided to go with it. If they didn't ask for permission and just did it, then I feel like this would be a completely different scenario. Everyone would just think they're stupid and then forgive them. They're no. Like, this is just like straight up no.
It definitely matters how they got to this point. I think that given everything that's happened, them changing the name is absolutely the right thing to do. Bringing up other scenarios where they could still have the Streamlabs OBS and then ignore all that other stuff, I'm curious how people would take it, just because it reminds me of all the different, like, Pokemon, Digimon, Xmons, and like service pluses, and what is it, and like product primes or whatever. Like, everything is a plus or a prime these days, so it kind of reminds me of that, and how terms just become ubiquitous in various industries. I think the OBS name is a little more specific, but I'm curious if Streamlabs wouldn't have started something.
Well, I also was thinking this. It's funny you mentioned that, bringing
Yeah.
up plus and everything, because I was totally thinking about when the iPod came out. All these other products started using the same iLive, iHome, iPub. Like, all these different brand companies started using the letter I, because you can't trademark I, and started doing that.
Yeah.
So I thought
forgot
I
about
was thinking of I was thinking about that, just if like that was a similar to this situation.
that. It leads back to Apple so much.
it does.
They need
Everything
to stop
everything
making new
leads back.
trends.
Well, and I mean, it goes even further than that. I mean, there's a lot of, I mean, you look at AirPods. AirPods are copied so much,
Yeah.
like the design and everything and stuff like that. The U.S. Border and Customs actually, I don't remember. I think it was before the pandemic, but had seized a bunch of iPad or iPod copies, or excuse me, AirPod copies that were basically copies of the trademarks that were out there and used by Apple. So I mean, there's a lot of that out there. So you have to be respectful of that people, and you have to be respectful of people's trademarks and hard work. And if you don't, then I mean, obviously you do. But here in this situation, OBS didn't, like everything was distributed under the general public's license, which is there to distribute software for people to use. And and Streamlabs took advantage of that by even filing a trademark. They could have taken the name from OBS and come back to the OBS project and said, sorry, we've got the trademark right here, you can't use it.
Exactly.
Like there needs to be and I think that was the biggest community outroar out there that people thought might happen, that OBS might go away. And you just can't have that.
No, absolutely not. Yeah, them filing for a trademark for that name, I could definitely see them letting that go for a couple of years. You have competition between OBS and Streamlabs OBS. Then they go to some judge or something, and they're like, people are getting confused between our two products, and we have the trademark, so could you do something, judge? And then, gosh, if they tried that, though, how could you show your face back in the industry that you're supporting if you did something like that? Because, I don't know, we're all digital natives at this point. Everybody would know. Everybody in the industry would know what they did. So it's just surprising that things got this far. Really sad to see.
It's funny too. I don't know if you followed this too, but it's kind of outside of the tech world, but still kind of in the musical world. Did you guys ever hear about the Lady A and Lady Antebellum thing when they dropped the Antebellum and became Lady A?
Oh no.
I'm trying to look it up here because it was a local artist, I believe, in Seattle, that used the Lady A name, and she didn't have it trademarked or anything or something like that. And then they kind of went to court over it. Oh, here it is. Name. Looking it up here. So yeah, they basically dropped the Antebellum name and wanted to be called Lady A, but there was already somebody who was reporting that they were using the Lady A name and at the same time, and then used it. I'm trying to see if it ever, but she was a black lady, and it just, I think it came into, Lady A was already known and used for 20 years by a Seattle-based African-American activist, blues and solo funk gospel singer. And I think they went to court over it. I'm trying to figure out what happened here.
Did the person with more money win?
Probably. Oh, here it says on July 8th, 2020, the band filed a lawsuit against White asking who was the original singer of it, asking the Nashville court to give the trademark their name.
That's clever. Yeah, but I guess it makes sense. You file in the state you're in.
She and her team demanded $10 million in payment.
What?
Yeah, it was really weird. And then in September of 2020, they filed a counter lawsuit.
Hell yeah!
And she is seeking damages, and I think it's still ongoing.
Federal judge denies. Oh, I don't want to disable my ad blocker because I don't want you to serve me horrible ads.
I'm trying to find out the outcome of that because it's the same thing essentially as what that's why you should trademark your property and stuff like that. If you come up with a name, you should make sure that you're not using somebody else's trademark and check for that.
This scenario is fascinating to me because if the Seattle Lady A had ever published work anywhere, I would imagine that gives you claim to the name in some kind of eternal fashion. But I guess if you never copyrighted or trademark it or whatever, then because you never did that, you now can't use the name because someone in the legal system trademarked it, but then you could maybe file a countersuit in order to get it back. But that sounds mind-numbingly complicated.
I'm trying to figure out what happened to it.
Well, I'll undo this here ad block, and there I've disabled my.
I don't see a lot. I don't see a lot before 2020 or after 2020 when the lawsuit was filed.
I see here something from 2021. Federal judge denies original Lady A's motion to dismiss or transfer lawsuit filed by Lady Antebellum. This is from digitalmusicnews.com. Says a Tennessee federal judge has denied the request by the Seattle blues singer to dismiss or transfer the lawsuit filed against her by the country trio formerly known as Lady Antebellum. So that's what I've seen so far. Last month, the presiding judge in the lawsuit filed in Washington, the action that originally Lady A submitted granted the country band's October of 2020 motion to stay pending resolution. Blah, blah, blah.
So it sounds like the court battle is still going on in some form. But this is just like this is a perfect example of that. And I think it's important, for artists and developers and software developers to check mark your stuff, trademark your stuff, and to respect other people's licenses if they have it, or projects if it's an open source project. OBS, don't take the project. So it be interesting to see what happens in that lawsuit. So.
And it's interesting if OBS never trademarked or copyrighted their name or property. I'm looking here. I'm curious how much it costs to trademark something. Is it like $50? Is it $500? Is it really time intensive? Is there like some app that you can do it really, really easily? I'm not sure.
Yeah, I think it's between $225 and $600 plus legal fees. Most states, I think you can do some type of register if you don't want protection outside of your state. So I think you can do it locally in your state, but if you want to do a U.S. Trademark, then you need to pay the extra. So I think it costs between, like, I would say $200 to $600 or something like that to do.
Okay, that's reasonable, especially if you're a big project like OBS, or even, I don't know, even a large streamer like Pokimane. You could trademark your name so that nobody randomly takes it somewhere else if you need to. Probably an important conversation to have as pseudonyms become more and more the way that people interact with each other. Very curious.
Yeah, and I mean, logos have been copied over time too. If you look at the there was the Meta logo. Hold on. I think there was a Meta logo that was copied. So if you ever, is this it?
The world's most generic logo.
So there's a U.S. Based company that is suing Facebook over the infringement upon their logo, and they use kind of a similar logo. I think there's some, if you could kind of compare them close to by, there was some distinguishations, but there was definitely some of that. And then also I can't find the name of that logo.
Was it Sense? Does that sound about right? Oh, so I see something from the M-Sense migraine app. It looks like they tweeted October 29th, 2021 that we are very honored that Facebook felt inspired by the logo of our migraine app. Maybe they'll get inspired by our data privacy procedures as well. And it's arguably, they're very similar logos.
They are.
I don't know. I don't know how you can make the infinite symbol, like how many ways you can change the infinite symbol to make it look unique, because that's what it is. It's just the infinity symbol. But both are basically the infinity symbol turned into a sort of M. One happens to be green. That's the M-Sense logo, and the Facebook Meta one is blue. But yeah, not stealing logos, but
if you're watching it though, there it is on the screen. Comparative.
Oh yeah.
Almost looks
very
like the WebEx
very
logo.
similar. It does kind of look like the WebEx, but other logos have been copied. So you kind of see where that comes from. The other thing I was going to say too, the Seattle Kraken, was a Kraken. Kraken is our
hockey team. Our new MLS hockey team.
I'm trying to type at the same time, and I can't do both. But there was a lawsuit with a bar and grill.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Over the Kraken.
So they were gonna call it the Kraken Bar and Grill, I think, or something like that, at the Ice Planks. And then they were gonna call it the Kraken Bar and Lounge, and that is Kraken Bar and Grill in the Kraken Iceplex, which is at Northgate, the formerly known as Northgate Mall. And they pretty much hired a lawyer, went after the Kraken, saying, "Hey, you can't do that. Like, we've spent a lot of time, and they're a local restaurant in the University District here in Seattle." Mm-hmm. And then, so Kraken then acknowledged that and said, "No, we won't do that anymore." And they came up with a new name called 32 Bar and Grill.
Oh, that's rough.
Which is there. So I mean, there's a lot of names. So you should do a simple Google search, because I did a simple Google search of Kraken Bar and Grill, and it pulled up the Kraken Bar and Lounge. So you should do, like, if you're going to come up with something, you should do a relative search to make sure that you're not using somebody else's name, because I think that is the biggest thing, the biggest takeaway from here.
You search for logos, you search for domain names, you search for company names, just search for it all. Google is your friend.
Yeah, and you look at social media sites, like is somebody using the name on Twitter? Like, it's just like you shouldn't copy somebody else's name or logo in that case. Now, that doesn't mean you can't take ideas from a logo, but you shouldn't copy it, and you shouldn't make it like the Meta logo, which looks very, very similar to I mean, it's a little thicker in the middle of the logo, but I mean, it's still like, you have to wonder how much research that Facebook might have done on that logo.
I would imagine that Mark Zuckerberg was just like, "This is our logo now, and I'm not Googling it."
Well, he probably thought that. He probably was like, "We're going to be a bigger company, so no one's going to know who these nobodies are."
Mm-hmm. Or, "I can't wait to crush this company's logo out of existence."
Yeah.
For the record, I wanted to see what kinds of options are out there for checking domains and social media accounts. And at the very least, you can go to namechk.com, type in whatever username you want, and it'll pull up a list of available URLs, so domains, and what social media they are subscribed to. And you can see all of that. So I wonder if I type in Tim VK.
Uh-oh.
This never mind. I was going to be like, this CAPTCHA is really hard. I have to lie every time. I'm not a robot. Okay. Facebook, Blogger, Twitch.
Oh,
No. No TikTok, I see. Chef Tim. I could get stuck doing this. That was actually really interesting.
Chef Tim VK.
Yeah, that's what I'm typing in right now. I need to know.
It's got a fake account on Twitter. Or does it? Is it really Chef Tim?
It's not.
I don't know about that. I think he's
the only real Tim on Twitter is at it's Tim VK. That's the real Tim on Twitter.
That's the real Tim. Well, there's some Chef Tim VK
it's not
on
verified.
Reddit.
So.
What? Really? Interesting. Who else came up with that name? I feel like that'd be a very unique name.
So it's interesting. I have the username I am Matthew. I have the domain I am Matthew on Twitter and on thing. And people have tried to literally buy me out of that. I should have sold it long ago, but I didn't because it was such my brand. And I've kind of broken away from it, and I'm using mattevans.dev now. Just to kind of stick in line with my development profile and stuff. But yeah, I mean, there's definitely, buying a domain. I just sold a domain not that long ago for $1,000. And yeah, so the, what the other thing I was going to say too is, I lost my train of thought though, but I'm sure it'll come back to me soon. Any other examples of trademarking or copying logos? I mean, we've all seen the copies of like services like TikTok versus Reels, and Snapchat versus Stories,
like, YouTube Shorts. But they at least have the dignity to rename them.
To rename it, yeah.
The only thing that I would say for either, I don't know, applications with unique names and usernames that are unique is that with Facebook with Meta promoting the metaverse and possibly an NFT ecosystem, in the future, it'll probably be easier to stake some kind of permanent claim on a name of some kind or an item of some kind when either everything that is the internet is laid with blockchain that has like permanent records of who has what and who owns what. So the kind of problem that we're facing today might be alleviated a little bit in the future, like the Lady A versus Lady A thing. If there's some permanent record that's easily accessible on the internet by everyone, you could go back and look, oh, Lady A published a song in like, I don't know, 1982 or something. And hey, look, it's from Seattle. Clearly that's the first Lady A. There's no disputing that. We have so many different platforms today without a good way to search all of them, that it's really hard to find out who is who and who's publishing what. But maybe Mark Zuckerberg is on that. Who knows? That's all I got to say. Anything else, guys?
Are we here? Oh, there were...
I think we're here. Oh, there's 2 minutes.
2 minutes.
What the hell?
Bye, Matt. He's gone now. And now he's become a black screen.
There we go. There we go.
Turn your lights on.
What?
Turn your lights on.
Oh. Huh. So are you seeing his screen be black, Tim?
Yeah.
Yep, me too. There's no video feed, Matt. No video feed. Is your camera disabled?
I can't see him.
Can you hear me?
We can hear
you.
Wow, this is like really weird.
GG Restream.
What the hell?
I'm sure it's something Mac related. It's okay.
Are we even live anymore?
It says live.
Live.
It does say live, but I don't know. My Google Chrome crashed, and we use a web browser for this, and I'm like, well, that's crappy.
We're still live, but the restream could be lying. You never know these days.
Yeah.
But maybe we should get out of here before things get worse, eh?
Yeah, no, we're still live. I see us on Twitter. So, okay, we'll wrap it up here then.
All right. So we want to give a big thank you to everyone out there, everyone here for joining us live on this episode of the Gooplycast, and a big thanks to you if you're listening to our podcast. Look for our replays on YouTube and the podcast version of our episodes on all your favorite podcasting apps and services, including iHeartRadio and Facebook podcasts. Follow us on Twitter and like us on Facebook, so that way you'll know when we go live and you'll get notified so that you can join in. And also for when we share new tech-related content. I've been your host, Matt Carter. For Matt, Roy, Tim, and Joseph, we appreciate you so much for watching and listening. We'll catch you next time on the Gooplycast.